answering some questions about DMU today. Okay, so the first question is, what did you study at undergrad and why? I studied business and management, mainly for the fact that it's very versatile and diverse.
I studied arts and festival management and drama, mainly because I wanted to go into the creative industries and that management and business side.
Okay, so what was your favorite module when you studied business management? I would have to say it was brand management in second year. The class was amazing. We got to revamp a pre-existing brand, and it kind of gave us some insight into what actual marketeers do.
If you had to describe your DMU undergrad experience, what would it be? For myself, I'd say the social scene is really great, and I got to do a lot of networking.
Yeah, no, I feel like Leicester, and especially DMU, there's something for everyone. Whether or not you like societies, or if you actually like partying, there's something and you always find a way to fit in.
What is one tip you'd give to students to ensure they do well in their degree? For myself, I always found it useful to have a library study buddy. Makes it more efficient, less stress-free. You can also peer assess each other. That's just mine.
Yeah, I would actually say utilize your lecturers. They are there to help you. Don't see them as like an authority figure. They're your friends. They will help you through every way, and it's really good to connect with them. Okay, so what's your favorite thing about Leicester? I would have to say my favorite thing about Leicester is that it's very accessible. DMU campus is here, and then there's loads of accommodations and food places surrounding.
Okay, food is like my number one thing about Leicester. There's so many different cultures here. You can literally just pick and mix and have so much variety.
Yeah. Thanks for watching our video. Bye.
Hello there, everyone, and welcome to our digital open day. We are very happy that you could join us today. I am Mehul, and I'm a PhD student studying law at DMU. So during this session, we'll be talking about all of the economics programs we have to offer you here at DMU. And to help us do that, we'll be joined by Associate Professor Tom Allen, Senior Lecturer Godwin, and current students from the Faculty of Business and Law who will talk about their own experiences of studying at DMU. Also, we'll be answering questions that you have at the end of the live stream, so please leave us a comment. And if you'd like to join the discussion or have any questions about life at DMU as an economics student or just life generally at DMU, please feel free to leave your comments. So let's start by introducing everyone joining me today. Over to Tom.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Dr. Tom Allen. I'm the head of the economics section within the Department of Economics and Marketing at De Montfort University.
Thanks a lot for that, Tom. Shall we go to Godwin then?
Hi, everyone. I am Dr. Godwin Okafor, a senior lecturer in the Department of Economics and Marketing. I'm also the program leader for the economics joint programs, which is accounting and economics, economics and finance, and business management and economics.
And over to Lauren.
Hi, everyone. I'm a final year accounting and economics student at DMU.
Nice. And finally, last but not the least, we got Zainas.
Hi, everyone. I'm a first year PhD student in economics, and I've previously studied economics at DMU. I came through the university, did masters, and I'm doing a PhD here as well. Yeah.
Awesome. So now that we've got everybody introduced, let's start by talking to our students and academics about the economics courses and their content. So firstly, going over to Lauren, can you tell us a little bit more about your experience studying economics at DMU and why you chose to study here?
Yeah, so when I was looking for universities, I was looking for a university that would provide an economics course, well, a joint economics course, that would provide like extracurricular opportunities to go alongside my degree. So I looked at things like placement years. I looked at things like the DMU Global. I mean, no other university does anything like that. So that stood out to me. I looked at things like societies and just like other opportunities and things to get involved with on campus. I also chose DMU because obviously I live quite close as well. But when I was looking at all the surrounding universities near to me, DMU, like as a campus, is quite modern. Everything's in one place. So that's another reason why I chose DMU. The reason I chose the course was because I liked to have sort of, I wanted to do sort of a mix of things because at the time I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do career-wise. So I got advised on a DMU open day to maybe look at the joint opportunities, like the joint honours. I know Godwin says he's the programme lead for that. So I chose to do business management and economics, but then managed to swap in my first year to accounting and economics because I was quite interested in the finance side of things as well.
Wow, thanks a lot for sharing your journey so far with this, Lauren. And how about you, Zainus? What was your experience of studying economics at DMU? Clearly, you've pursued it further with a PhD.
Yeah. So with my experience, it's been quite a journey because when I did my economics, when I was doing economics, I learned that there's a lot of things that I have to learn in order to excel well at economics. But for me, I had the support of a lot of my lecturers and a lot of my course-mates who helped me and directed me in the right place. So with that came the highlights of my economics degree, which saw me get awarded the best student performance. Yeah, and I never could have done all that if it wasn't for the lecturers who supported me. So I really liked it. How they helped me out, and I saw myself grow. So that was something that was very interesting because I never knew I could actually really do it as well as I did, and it came out really well. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for sharing with that with us, Zainus. It's truly inspiring to hear how far you can go given the right support. And so thanks a lot, guys. So let's speak to our academics and learn a bit more about the courses that are available in economics and DMU. So firstly, going over to Tom. Tom, can you talk to us about the programs that we offer?
Yes, so we've got quite a wide range of different programs, as has already been hinted at by people that have spoken. So we've got 2 straight economics degrees, both a BA and a BSc. If people are unsure what the difference is, economics is one of those subjects that's sort of on the borderline in terms of its technical content. It is a quantitative subject, and the BSc simply has a little bit more of that. Most of the stuff is same as BA, but just a little bit more of that technical maths, stats type content. And then alongside those, we have a wide range of joint degrees with pretty much everything else within the business and law faculty. So you can do economics with accounting, finance, business management, law, politics, international relations. So for anyone, sort of as Lauren mentioned earlier, anyone who's not totally sure what it is you want to do as a job, or is just interested in both those topics in pretty much equal amounts, you can choose that joint honours and split it exactly 50-50.
So thanks a lot for that, Tom. So we will now be joining our student Zainus, who's going to give us a tour of the economics facility that we have at De Montfort University. And I'd like to bring in Godwin to talk to us a little more about the facilities that we have to offer our students while Zainus gives us a tour. So over to you, Godwin and Zainus.
Yeah, brilliant. The university definitely prides itself in giving universities, the students, facilities that will maximize their student learning experience. We've got the Bloomberg room, which I believe will be seen at some point, where student data, which university subscribes to data for basically top companies all around the world that can aid your understanding of economics and finance as well. We've also got wonderful learning facilities, lovely lecture rooms and seminar classes. We've got new buildings as well to go with that. Plenty of stuff, computers. And then what the university did this time around was to also help students get access to personal computers, because with the COVID situation, some students had no laptops to work with, but the university was absolutely spot on in getting laptops for students. For sure, will be returned in due time, but that's exactly what the university does. So we've got that, everything to help aid your learning experience is absolutely here. The library is absolutely first class. We subscribe to top journals with access to relevant textbooks, both e-books and the hard copy. So it's absolutely everything you need. We definitely provide here. I believe this is the Bloomberg room being shown at the moment.
Godwin, I just wanted to ask you, could you tell us more about any sort of interesting topics or modules and projects that are studied throughout the economics degrees?
Yeah, we've got in the economics analytics, which is all about forecasting. So in there, students understand the importance of data and how data can be used to predict future outcomes. So that's one of the interesting modules. As said, as Tom mentioned earlier, economics is a quantitative study, and if you come to study economics, you would have some idea of how to analyze data, interpret data, and forecast data. That's one of the good things about it as well. We've got behavioral economics as well. It's a very interesting one. We've also got a lab to accompany that, whereby research can be also carried out. So it's a very interesting one and very popular with students as well. We've got a new module, which is environmental economics. We are absolutely in the era of looking out for the environment, talking about climate change. So we've got a module which again is very popular with students. It's just a new one we've come out with. So environmental economics, it's another one. And these are the modules that would, again, this just to mention a few. These are some of the things that would give you that understanding of real world events. For projects, we get our students. They are involved in plenty projects, even whilst they are students. You can see what Lauren is doing. She's a final year student. And you can see Zinas as well. You can see Mehu. These are students, and they are involved in things like this. We've also got research centers, which I believe students can also get involved with. They carry out projects every now and then, research, and then students can get themselves involved in some cases, get some sort of stipends to go with that. We've got another module which is in the first year. It's known as the enterprise and professional practice. So in there, students sort of get themselves involved with projects within Leicester Council, and again, it's very popular with students, and they learn so much from it. These things can also go in the CV as well to demonstrate bits and bits of learning and working experience.
Wow, that's really great to hear the amount of breadth and width of projects and unique activities that DMU offers its students. And one of the main things that this leads to is the idea of being employable and having placements throughout your studies. So moving on to that section and talking about the placement opportunities and employability that is available for our economic students, I would like to call on Tom and Lauren also, because Lauren has, I believe, done placements or has been involved with this employability things. So firstly, going to Tom. So Tom, why would you say placements are important? And can you give us some examples of placements where economic students have gone to these placements?
Yes, of course. So placement is a really good opportunity to get direct work experience in, and not just in working within a company in a sort of menial role, but really doing a professional job. Something that your degree is going to be set up for after you've fully graduated. Almost all our students that go away and do placements come back with a really, most of them had it before anyway, but if they didn't or needed enhancing, come back with a real professional attitude, go and get really top degrees, and then very often, as Lauren will talk about shortly, can go straight back to that company and go and work there afterwards and have that set up already. I always tell people that even if you don't get the job in the placement, because it is competitive, we give you a lot of help. We have a great placements team who will work to look at your CV, look at your applications, make you aware of the opportunities, help you with interview technique and assessment technique, but it is competitive and the company has to want to give you a job. Even just going through that process of knowing what it's like to apply for graduate roles and the sorts of things you have to go for, because it is competitive out there, is a really good opportunity. One thing also to point out, because I know students ask me this at open days, is that you don't have to decide that now. So any of the degrees you do, at DMU, you have that opportunity for a placement, but you decide that in the second year of your study. So we start telling you about it, well, now at open days and in your first year, but it's really in your second year where we say, okay, start looking at the opportunities and start thinking about it and get applying. But it's not something you have to do at the moment. You just sign up for your degree now. When you start the second year is when you start to really make that decision.
And now going to Lauren. Lauren, can you please talk to us about your experiences and, you know, how it enriched your studies and how it's helped you develop?
Yeah, so originally when I came to DMU, I liked the fact that you could do a placement if you wanted to. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do one or not. I applied for a 3-year course because I didn't really know that there was 3-year, 4-year and all that. But then when I applied, I realized I could convert it to a 4-year degree, and I listened to the DMU Business and Law Placement Service. I went and had meetings with them at the end of my first year and sort of got a grasp of what the opportunity is, what would I get out of it, and find out more information. And they sort of booked me in for mock interviews, CV review sessions, psychometric test practice sessions. I know that they did a collaboration with Tom for an economics theory session, just to go over the basics to make sure we know it well for economics based placements when you had to do an economics test, to make sure we sort of know what to expect. I did get a offer from the Government Economic Service, so I worked in the Department for International Trade for a year. Half normal, half during a pandemic, so I've sort of had the best of both worlds in a way, sort of seeing what it's like the workplace before graduating. So I've sort of had a little insight into that now, and it's one of the best opportunities that DMU offers, because I spoke to so many students over my placement, and a lot of them could only do summer internships. There were summer internships that came and went, and because their university wouldn't allow them to do a whole year placement year. So I think I spoke to someone from Cambridge, and they weren't allowed to do a placement year, and other universities. So I think it's really does give you an edge on your CV. Lots of the people at work were telling me, oh, I'm so jealous, you get to do a whole year before you've even graduated, just to see what you want to do when you're finish and things like that, which was amazing. And I had so much support from the Business and Law Placement Service, talking about throughout my placement, if I had a problem, I could ring them. My placement tutor was there for me through lots of different times. I emailed him if I had a problem, or emailed him if I needed some help with something, and he spent an hour and a half going through the placement portfolio with me on the phone, which I thought was really nice. You don't get that support from many places, and I think that DMU really offered that to me. And they also offered me support when I went for my graduate position interview with the GES, which I did online, and I got support from DMU Works and DMU Placement Service for that. And I did actually get offered the graduate role with GES. So it just shows doing a placement, you could get a role at the end of it. And now I'm sat here, everyone's stressing about graduate roles, and I'm just focused on the uni aspect. So good things can come from things like that. And even if you don't get a graduate role, the experience you get is so good to put on your CV for when you're applying for graduate roles. They really do value experience. And I think one thing that a lot of people were worried about when applying for placements was A-level results as well. It is true, some placements do ask for A-level results, but I personally didn't get the best A-level results in the world, and I managed to get a placement within the first half of the year anyway. So don't let that put you off either, because I know we had a few questions about that in previous streams as well. Yeah.
Well, congratulations, Lauren, on securing that graduate role. And obviously, thanks a lot for sharing with us, your experiences. And I'm sure the audience has learned a lot about what they can expect and the kind of support that is also available at DMU. So now let's go to Godwin, actually. Godwin, would you like to speak to us about any other opportunities that students can take part in that enhances their employability whilst being at DMU?
Yes, within the university has got some internship programs as well for students. Also got some graduate schemes as well, whereby upon graduation, upon they are leaving university, the university does retain them in some sort of working capacity. Could be temporary, could be permanent. So that's something again students benefit from in this at this university. We've also got the DMU Global. Maybe some of you might have heard about this, where students get the opportunity to, at a very subsidized rate, to visit different parts of the world as part of their learning experience. In previous years, students have gone to Paris, they've gone to Berlin, they've gone to New York, they've gone to a number of places. Again, not just going there to for sure there'll be again some an opportunity to also relax, but the main thing would be for learning. They visit top government institutions, top businesses to learn and know how things work as well. Again, we've got the DMU local as well, where students are involved within the local community. Again, as Mehu said, these things are good for the CV. It does help. And there are lots of societies as well. We've got the Economic Students Economic Society, which Lauren is heavily involved in. And we've got some graduate prospects as well. Again, if you look at as Lauren said, again, congratulations on that. She's got a graduate offer already, and some students would also do. We've got some of our students in past, they've gone on to work for top companies. They've gone for BMW, Renault, and Lauren will be joining them again. We've got some of our students as well on the government economic service as well. So Lauren will be going there as well. So some have also set up their own business, not being employed anywhere, but then become entrepreneurs on their own right. So definitely opportunities abound as long as an association with this university is concerned.
And Lauren and Zeynus, do you have anything to add about the other opportunities that are available at university other than just the placements that we have? Start with Lauren.
Yep. So like Godwin said, I am heavily involved with the Economic Society. I actually helped create the society. We were one of like a couple of years ago, we went to the DSU and said, there isn't an Economic Society, let's create one. So that's another thing that you can do at DMU, which is really good. But yeah, the reason how I came about to sort of start that society was through a DMU global trip. So in 2018, I went to Berlin on an economics trip. And there was a group of about, I think there was 9 or 10 of us who went, and 4 of us from that trip said we wish there was an economic society, and we became really good friends through that trip, having never met before, even though we sat literally 2 people away in a lecture, we didn't know each other. And we actually came back from the trip and created the society. So it just shows, going on a DMU global trip, even for the experience in that, you meet so many new people. Even a group of 10, I met so many friends out of that. And we sort of began meeting up afterwards. We went out together in the evenings. We went and did like lots of different things together as a group of friends, and we formed the society. So obviously I went off on placement and I've come back and I've become chairperson of that. I got elected in again to be chair. And I've sort of been trying to promote people to go on these trips. Obviously they're not open at the moment, but I think that's one of the turning points in my degree where I saw like a real change in like what I would have previously saw my degree to be like. I also did one in Paris. I went to Paris in 2019 on another DMU global trip, which was amazing as well. And I think doing those experiences, had I not done those, I wouldn't have met half of the people I know now on my economics course. So I really, really recommend going on those trips.
Well, Lauren, the DMU global trips have really made you a really international person, haven't they?
Yeah.
And going to Zeynus, what about your experiences and the activities and sort of student societies you've been involved with?
Okay, so regarding societies, I joined the laser tag society with a group of friends, and we went laser tagging because there are a few places around Leicester where you could do that, and it was so much fun. We had so much fun, like moving up. Note that this was prior to the pandemic. Yeah, when we did this. Yeah, so it was so much fun. We enjoyed it. On my spare time as well, as students, you have access to like the Queen Elizabeth Leisure Centre, and I go play basketball with some of my mates. So it's normally on a Thursday that you can go, because on other days, maybe like the basketball team will be using the facilities, but it's free for students to go to on Thursday. So like I really enjoyed doing that and delving into that. I also took part in a lot of DMU local stuff, and that DMU local is like volunteering for like people in Leicester. So I was a teaching assistant at the Shaftesbury school. So me and a couple of friends of mine, we went there. We met with the kids, was able to help in teaching and their learning experiences, and it was really nice because it was so welcoming how the teachers who were there were to us, and how the students reacted to us as well. It was really nice because I really enjoyed that. Also, I helped with disabled groups in volunteering with disabled groups as well, and all that experience was very humbling, because like it made me see like the impact we as students can give to our society and can give back. Also, during the pandemic, I volunteered for a food bank, a local food bank at Beaumont Lee Centre, and it's not far from Leicester at all. So I did that through the majority of the pandemic, and it was so humbling again to see how we are helping people during this pandemic, and how you see how people are struggling with the pandemic, and how like their lives have changed, their lives have been altered, because you have conversations with them, you give them food, and you see how grateful they are, and how they're being uplifted by this. And it's nice to give back, and it's nice that DMU is doing this and is giving back to the community of Leicester and is helping people. And I was so proud, so very proud to be a part of that. Yeah.
Wow, those are some really interesting anecdotes that both of you have shared with us today. And thank you to everyone on the stream as well for contributing to the discussion and for your comments. And please keep your questions and comments coming as we have a Q&A session in around 10 minutes. So talking about COVID and the whole online learning experience that this has created, now I'd like to speak more about that. But first, we'll watch this short clip about online learning.
Hi, my name's Kerry. I'm an accounting and finance student in my third year. I've just returned back from placement, and I'm going to be answering some mystery questions. How are you adjusting to online learning? So I think I'm adjusting quite well, actually, considering I was in classrooms before. But I think that doing it from your own personal space can actually be nicer sometimes. You've got kind of own time to look at lectures and to look at all of the information, and you can essentially just get up out of bed, sit at your desk and do all of your work, which is quite nice, especially if you're living at home and you don't want to commute as much. So it's been quite good for me. I think all my lectures have been really supportive and helpful, and if you have any questions, they reply really quickly because they're all on their computers as well. So it's been pretty good so far. Oh, got it. What online software is available to you on your course? So we mainly use Blackboard. That's the main one that I use, at least. We do Blackboard Collaborate, so that's where we do our sessions. And then we have the Gateway, where all of the information to do with sort of placements and well-being and health for that kind of thing, like appointments for that kind of thing, are held. So I actually have a few appointments with placement teams and things like that set up for me. Oh, that was the closest.
That one is well too scratched up. Look at it.
What tips would you give to a student who is new to online learning? So I would say use all of the resources as much as you can, get all of your work done before you have the seminars, and just essentially be prepared that it's going to be a little bit different to your classroom learning. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you at DMU soon.
So now I'd like to bring in Tom and sort of speak to him more about this new term which has come out of this pandemic called blended learning. So Tom, can you talk to us more about blended learning and how it works?
Yeah, so blended learning is the mixture of online and some face-to-face, to use you never had to use that word before coronavirus. It was just you're in a room with people. Now it's face-to-face learning versus online. So we've tried to have a mixture, and one of the things we've done is that all our kind of big lectures where it would have been, you know, someone like me standing in front of 100 or 200 people and sort of delivering the kind of main content on a particular topic and explaining it. We always recorded those anyway and made those available for students to listen to online and go back and revise from and stuff like that. But we've just done those with recordings now. So the advantage to that is that, you know, you can access that whenever you want, and you've just got that big bank of recordings and that you can go to, split by the topics, and you go back to those. So students, I think, on the whole, find that a useful approach. Particularly when it comes to assessments and being able to go back to that. You know, when I was an undergraduate, I never had that. I had to scribble down, you know, pages and pages of little A4 notes in my horrible handwriting. And now, you know, you can just click a button and just rewatch that video from several months ago and take in those points. What attached to that, we have our small group seminars. So a student in kind of 10, 15 students, where it's more about discussion, looking in the material in a little bit more depth. Some of those we've kept face-to-face as much as we could throughout the term within the government guidelines. And a lot of it's been online as well. And as mentioned in the video just now, we've been using different platforms, but mainly something called Blackboard Collaborate, which is you know, similar to the thing we're using now, except, you know, we can interact with each other. You can put up a shared whiteboard that people can doodle on. You can put up materials that people can then reflect on and discuss in little groups, and try and get that interaction and engagement, which is a really important part of the learning process. One of the things we've done in response to the pandemic is to offer more of that online teaching. So in normal times, students would have had one of those kind of smaller group seminars every fortnight. Now we have one every week. So in terms of the actual contact time you have with staff, our economics students actually have more of that now than they did before. Some of it, or a lot of it, is virtual, but there is more of that time and ability to ask questions and interact with the other students. Of course, there are downsides of not, you know, physically being there and having that engagement, as you know, we've all had those problems in the last few months. And hopefully, by the time the people on this stream are joining us in autumn 2021 or even 2022, things are more normal. But we'll still use the good bits of what we've just kind of found out about over the last few months, and obviously combine those with the good bits of more face-to-face teaching, hopefully.
And now let's speak to some of our students again, Lauren and Zeynus, and sort of work out how it has enhanced your experiences of studying with this blended learning technique. So Zeynus, do you want to start first?
Yeah, really, I'll go first. Yeah, so with the online experience, to begin with, I didn't know how it was going to look like, but once I started and got involved in it, I realized that it's actually much more convenient for me, because like I'm always on my laptop now, and whilst I'm on my laptop, I get time to familiarize myself with using my laptop a lot more in terms of learning, in terms of like using it to benefit from it. So my technological experiences and usage has improved for sure, and preparing for the lectures is much more easier now because everything is online and everything it's ready and available. So once I get onto the class, I have got that preparation with me, and also whilst I'm doing it, whilst we're on the class, on the side, if I don't understand anything, I could type it in the chats, or I can like and it could be addressed later. And when I'm in the group chat, when we are like put into groups and we're discussing things, it's much more, it helps because like you can engage more with your course mates, and you're less shy to like raise awareness to a topic or raise awareness to something you don't get, something you don't understand, because you feel like you're in your comfort of your room or of your home, and you can do that, you can engage with that. And to me, it's been a very good learning experience. And because even when I'm being taught or lessons are being learned, I can like split my screen and have like Google on the side. So in terms of anything that I do not have or like I'm not sure of, I can just Google it. Even though I can Google it, I also like double check with the lecturer who's presenting and make sure like I completely understand that. So I found it to be very helpful. Contrary to what I thought in the beginning of how I was going to look like I was thinking like, is my education life going to change? Am I really going to learn as much? But like, it's actually really good for me because it gives me more time to put into like preparing for my lectures and all those stuff. So I for one, I think I'll be interested in like adding a bit more of that to like the teaching and learning experience.
And Lauren, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think as Zayla said, I said at the start, like I was like, oh gosh, what's it going to look like? I mean, everyone was like, it was such an uncertain time. I think everyone was a bit like worried and things like that. But like Tom said, he's like increased the amount of contact time we have with lecturers, which I think was really important and necessary. I think during I think at the start, everyone was a bit sort of nervous because they were on an online lecture and people sort of wouldn't speak and things. But one of the things I've been sort of trying to do is turn my microphone on or like ask a question in the chat, like contribute. And I found that if one person contributes, more people do. And I think the ice has been broken now and it's got to the point where it's just like a normal seminar. I think as well, like what I've been doing sort of in the societies is sort of when doing Zoom socials, it's a similar situation. I've been always turning my camera on, getting the other committee members to turn their cameras on, even if they don't want to. So to try and like sort of have some sort of face-to-face contact, I think that's really important. And I think I've noticed more people who have been attending the socials have actually also been sort of joining with like their camera on, not the camera on, their microphone on in like seminars and actually been having the courage to speak and like writing on the chat and things like that. And I think before, like when everything started, everyone was a bit nervous, but I think especially because people like don't know who else is on the chat, they don't know people, especially I think this must be quite hard for first years as well. I bet like prospective students who are watching might be quite worried about joining because they won't make any friends. Join societies, get like your lecturer to put you in contact with other students with like-minded interests. Like, I think it's so important because then you're more confident to speak in the seminars. And I think, like Zaina said, it's actually going to be like implemented more in the future because I think it's so much more convenient. I think there's going to be a lot of this sort of online work from home in the future. So it's good to get used to it before the working world when you're going to be on Zoom calls and meetings and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, Lauren, you're perfectly right. It's always the fear of the unknown, isn't it? And I am pretty sure the audience has really appreciated your positive experiences of how online study has enhanced your learning and sort of learned a lot from that. So thanks a lot for sharing your experiences. And I hope to everyone at home that gave you a good idea of what it's like to be an economics student at DMU. Now, obviously, university is not just all about studying and seminars and lectures and employability. It's also about all of the other sort of extracurricular activities and the other aspects of university that are important to our students as well, such as societies we've spoke about, and most importantly, the city and the accommodations that you'd be living in. So firstly, let's just go to you, Lauren. So can you talk to us a bit about your student experience outside of lectures?
Yeah, so if I'm talking about sort of what things I sort of did in my spare time, like fun things, I think like as a society we sort of do socials, but I think a lot of the things, the good thing about Leicester as a place, like I'm local to Leicester anyway, so I didn't live in student accommodation, I commute via car. So I actually like know Leicester quite well and already knew what sort of things were available there. So it's quite good for my friends who moved here sort of think of ideas for things to do. Like I think there's a new bowling alley that's just opened in Leicester. You've got a big cinema, you've got a massive shopping centre called High Cross. You've got so many different types of food and restaurants. Like you'd be spoilt for choice. Like there's so much out there. And I was so sad because they've all been closed for so long, but they will open eventually. And I must say, like, there is something different to do every day. Like a really popular one is Saw Point, which is right near the university campus. That's a very popular place to go for a drink after lectures, do a social there, or even go for a brunch. Their brunches are really good, by the way. If you come to DMU, I recommend them. But yeah, like just sort of bowl. I think we went bowling. I mean, I know Zenas went to laser tag. I'm sure he'll talk about that But I didn't even know there was a laser tag place, by the way. So I'm really excited about that. You've got other places nearby. You've got Foss Park, so I think you can get there on the bus. But if you drive as well, like you've got Foss Park, which is a shopping centre just down Narber Road, not far at all. You've just got so much like near campus as well. Like campus is so close to the city centre, which that isn't always the case with universities. So I park on the city centre car park, and it literally takes me 10 minutes to walk to campus, like less than 10 minutes. So you're really in with all the action when you're like staying on campus, I suppose, as well, with all the accommodation being so close and nearby. But yeah, like we're never stuck with things like to do at all.
Yeah, Lauren, I think you make a really good point there. You know, Leicester being a very sort of neat and sort of contained city, it's not difficult to get from one place to the other. I'm now going to Zainus. You know, Zainus, what are your experiences?
Okay, so I'm going to start from the beginning in terms of like making friends and everything. How I made friends is that it was like from like the first day of orientation and like freshers and everything, you meet people, you get to know them, and you join societies. It's a very good way to get to know a lot of people as well. So I met my friends from societies, and we're still close. It's really fun, and everyone is friendly over here, so it's not that difficult to make friends at all. In terms of things I've done in Leicester, where do I start? So I've been to there's a go-karting place not far away. I've done that, so it's really fun. It's really fun. I like that. I've done paintballing. That's a little bit far, but not too far. It's like a 15-minute car drive, so that's very good. I got shot twice. It was really painful, but I had fun. I've done. There's a climbing place close to High Cross, wall climbing. You can do that as well. The cinemas, I like the cinemas. I like to get 2-for-1 cinema ticket. It's good on like Tuesdays and Wednesdays, so like that's really good. I've done there's this crazy golf place as well. I forgot what it was called. But yeah, it's fun. It's really nice, a nice experience and everything. And like they've all said, like Lauren said, like everything is close by because there's so many things in the city that you can do. When you mentioned food, I was so excited because like that's my thing. That's my go-to. I like food. I like food way too much. Given I do cook at home, don't say that I don't cook, but I do like other foods that I can't cook. Like the diversity in terms of food choice is so much. So like you can easily get, and even though we have a pandemic, like and everything, I've got Deliveroo, so like an Uber Eats, so I've been using that a lot. Yesterday I had a good pizza, Hawaiian, by the way. Yeah, I do like Hawaiian pizza. I know people don't like that, but like I do like it. Yeah, so yeah, Leicester has been fun. Yeah, it's been fun. Like you learn, you work hard, but like there's a whole other life to being a student as well. And like Leicester is so much fun.
Well, that's wonderful, guys, for sharing your experiences about sort of student life and student experiences. And thanks a lot to both of you, Zainus and Lauren, for being such wonderful students and sharing experiences today. So that wraps up what we would like to say. So I think now it's a very good time to answer the questions that you guys have been putting out to our academics and students. So please, can we have the questions that have been coming in today? Okay, so can you tell us more about what student accommodation is like? This one, we've got students here, so feel free to tell us what you guys think. I mean, Zainus, you lived out, right, at accommodation?
Yeah. I lived at accommodation called Code. It's not so far from the campus, about 5 minutes walk. And it was fun because like they had a cinema room, they had pool tables. It was so much fun. And I met a lot of friends there as well, because sometimes me and my mates would gather ourselves, go to the cinema room, and connect our PlayStation to like the screens and like play video games. And at student accommodations, that's where you get to meet other friends as well. Even though I met my main core group of friends at societies, but student accommodations, so you get to know people who are like close by and live close to you, and like in case you need to borrow something, you can like call up your mate and like ask him, do you have that? Can I use it? And like everyone is really nice. Everyone is really nice, and it's so much fun. So like I like the whole the students accommodation experience because you're immersed in campus and you get to feel like the student lifestyle. Yeah.
And the question, how will I be assessed? And we've got our academics here for this as well. So shall we go to Godwin first and then Tom, to yourself, about assessments?
Yes, stuff. There are different. It depends on the module. Usually, we have both in class. It could be in class test. It could also be examination, or it could be coursework. So it depends on exactly the module itself. But these are the way we usually mainly access our students. There are also presentations as well. Usually group presentations, but we don't have those anymore. But in the final years. Yeah, but students do we do have students working together in some way or the other to, but that's the way we usually access our students.
Yeah, and if I just think of the kind of assessments that I've given out in my modules over the years, we've had in-class tests, as Godwin mentions, statistics assignments, research assignments, where you're going out and reading papers and finding information and writing that up, more kind of technical assignments, looking at some of the kind of models we do and applying those to real world examples, and exams with different types of questions. So there's a real range of assessments. You know, we're aware that students learn and study in different ways, and different assessments suit different people. As you go through your degree, there's a chance to tailor your degree to a larger amount, and one of those things probably shouldn't be the main thing, but one of the things that students can choose is kind of which assessments do they prefer. Some students don't like exams so much, and so you can choose modules that don't have exams. Some students, sometimes it's hard to believe, but some students really like exams, and they want to choose the modules with the most exams in it. Which is fine as well. And so we try to use a real range of different things to test all those different skills that we want, those hard skills and those soft skills. Links back to the employability stuff we talked about earlier. So you know you can tell potential employers that you've done a research project, you've done these statistics things, you've done presentations, you've done group work, and show that you've got some of those skills as well.
The next question we have is, how can I best prepare to study this course? I'm sure there's a lot of elements to this. So shall we start with the academics?
Yes, for sure. Attending class is one of them. It's an important element of your learning. Attending classes and engaging with the learning materials. Carrying out with the relevant tasks, thinking that everything is important. You may encounter, because it's been designed, the curriculum is being designed this way, but in some cases you may ask yourself, why am I actually in this class? What is the benefit of this particular module? It does have benefit. If you begin to create this doubt, at times it doesn't help. It discourages you from learning. But I would assure you, everything that is being put forward before you absolutely is of importance. So that's one, engaging with the learning materials, attending classes, engaging with your fellow students as well. Another way is as well, speaking up. Providing feedback is an important element, and we do take that seriously as well. So we hearing what you have to say is another way we also improve ourselves, and then sustain what we know we've done better, and then try to improve on the things we know there are rooms for improvement. So again, these are some of the ways you can definitely prepare yourself to study economics. But one, the most important also is attending class and then engaging with your learning materials.
Just to add to that point, just before moving on to this next question, we will formally send new students a little bit of work and a little bit of stuff to look at kind of in the September before you start at the end of September. So and then use that in induction in the first classes. So we'll give you a bit of stuff to read and a few questions to think about, and then come back to that during induction just to kind of get you started on thinking about economics.
So thanks a lot for that, Godwin and Tom. Now to this question, which is to the students, I am guessing. Did you find your first year a big jump from year 13? Okay, I'm seeing Lauren is ready to answer that question. So over to you, Lauren.
So I think as someone who did economics in year 13, well, 12 and 13, and knowing friends on our course that have not done economics in year 12 or 13. So I would say a lot of people worry about that jump because, like, obviously A-level's difficult. And I think people worry that when they come to uni, it's going to be like, they're not going to be able to cope with it or whatever. But I must say, like, with your first year, I'm sure Godwin and Tom will agree with me on this, is that it's a lot of it is a bridging gap as well. So it's sort of designed to get those who didn't study economics at A-level up to the same knowledge level as people who did. So now we're reaching at the end of my first year and second year, my friends who didn't study economics A-level were at the same knowledge level as me. They had caught up completely, and they'd they may have to put in the odd extra hour trying to get their head around and understand things. And maybe the first 4 to 5 months were quite simple for me because I sort of had studied it before. It was just in a tiny bit more depth. But I really think one thing that the lecturers at DMU do a really good job of is actually bridging that gap, no matter what exam board you did as well. Because I know, like, the A-levels can vary dependent on exam board, but I've got friends who come from all sorts of backgrounds when it comes to economics knowledge, and we were all at the same point of knowledge when it got to by the time we finished first year. So I would really not worry about getting to university and being so stuck that you're not going to understand what's going on, even if you've never studied economics before. And there is lots of support out there as well when you're stuck on something, or if you've maybe, like, even if you've studied economics and forgotten a whole topic, or your exam board didn't teach that whole topic. Just email a lecturer. There'll be someone there to help you, and especially if you're finding the jump hard, which I think it's not so much a jump but a slope. I don't know how else to explain it. But yeah.
Thanks a lot for that, Lauren. Zainus, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I could tell you about my experience with that. So to begin with, I actually did accounting and finance in my undergrad. So and I moved to economics in my master's. So so what I want to tell you, what I want to share is like my experience of jumping or starting uni and like moving from a different course to an economic module or an economic course. So when I started, it was quite difficult for me because I wasn't sure about everything or what I was going to do. So one thing I learned is that sometimes you lose, but sometimes you actually learn something, and that's what uni is about. It's about you learning and building on yourself. So when I moved from my accounting and finance and started doing economics, I had like people on the course had already done it, and I haven't done it yet. But the way they started the course, they give you that fundamental knowledge about it, and they go into the in-depth stuff. I remember, like, I used to go to Dr. Godwin Okafor in his surgery hours to ask him questions and how to improve upon certain things and how to understand things very well. And he was very helpful. He gave me the support I needed. And eventually, I don't know how it happened, but I think it's because of all the support I got. I ended up getting like a first in every single module I did. And I ended up getting the best student performance, and I'm now doing a PhD in economics. So like that's it. You shouldn't worry about the jump. The teachers and lecturers are there to help you and support you. They would give you everything you need to make you succeed. They make it so comfortable for you to like build yourself up and learn from that. Yeah.
Thanks a lot for that, Zainus. So we have another question, which is, what advice would you give to students thinking about an economics degree? So Tom, shall we start with you on that? Just something like that.
Yeah, it's just to add to just to formalize something from the previous conversation. We don't need you to have done A-level economics before coming. So as Lauren hinted at, there are students from all kinds of backgrounds, and we don't need that. Only on a couple of our degrees do we need you to do maths on the BSc Economics and BSc Economics and Finance. I think the most important thing really is just to be inquisitive about the world. It was a long time ago, but when I was the kind of age that the people listening today were, I was just reading newspapers all the time, just reading the broadsheet newspapers and just interested in politics and what was going on, and that's what made me want to study economics, because I thought that the best way for me to understand what is going on in the world and what I'm reading about in the papers is to know about economics, and I stand by that decision. I think I was right. So, and even thinking of the stuff today, why are we doing this online, and coronavirus and stuff like that. A lot of that's got economics. The kind of epidemiological models that are sort of dictating our lives at the moment are similar to the kind of models we use in economics. The SAGE committee includes behavioral scientists who have backgrounds similar to a lot of stuff that we do in economics. So understanding the world around us and being inquisitive about the world around you, I think is the most important thing for getting the most out of economics.
Godwin?
Yeah, absolutely. Just as Thomas said, it can be derived from sort of self-interest, because you want to know exactly how the world works. You may be looking at as to employability prospects. Economics, basically, you'll be everywhere. It gives you opportunity to be almost everywhere. Right. So again, if you're thinking about employability prospects, economics, another one that will give you that option to explore not just in one part. You can then decide to move elsewhere. You can study economics and decide, well, I studied economics. You can move to another degree if you so want. You can make it easier. You can then move to some other degree. So again, self-interest is there. That's one. Another one is employability opportunities would also be there.
Thanks a lot for sharing those thoughts with us, Godwin, and thanks a lot to everybody joining the stream today, the academic students, and to our lovely audience, because I guess we're going to have to finish our live stream there. So thank you very much to everyone for listening and for sending in your questions. It's truly been fun today. And there is still a lot more coming up as part of our Digital Open Day here at Democracy University. So let's have a look at the short clip of all that we've got coming up today. And just before we finish up, we have another video that we want to share with you. Enjoy the video and have a great rest of the day. We hope to see you soon at DMU. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
DMU is an experience that I'll never forget. It's been the best 4 years of my life.
It's not just your degree, it's a whole change of life.
Without coming to DMU, I would not have found the lifelong friends that I have.
So my time at DMU has been amazing. I've taken part in DMU Global, DMU Local. It's more than just a degree. It's about your friendship, the connections you make with like teachers, your peers. It's more than just education.
From joining the university, I've joined societies and I've met lecturers and friends that are going to be with me for the rest of my life.
The first lecture I went to, I made friends that are lifelong, and we've gone through university together, we've travelled across the world together, and it's quite an experience.
One of the main things that I've accomplished here at DMU was being chairman of DMU Saints. It's obviously allowed me to grow so much as a person. So in the future, I'm definitely able to take what I've learned here at university and put it into practice.
Being involved in societies, and there's been a lot of debates and events that we've had to host, and with the month for SU, and so that's helped improve my confidence and public speaking as well, which I used to hate before.
Placement team was really useful in helping me secure my placement in second year. I got a placement at Disney, and that helped me pursue what I wanted to do in the future.
I secured a grad job for Orbit Group on the finance graduate scheme. My DMU placement really contributed to me getting my graduate job.
Without a shadow of a doubt, my placement definitely led to the opportunity of my graduate job. It's been an amazing opportunity.
One of the things that I'll miss about DMU is the opportunities available to me, for example DMU Global. I was fortunate enough to go to Berlin with DMU Global as part of their #NotOnMyCampus campaign, which was all to do with stamping out discrimination on campus.
So in January, me and 1,000 other students were able to go to New York and experience the Big Apple.
We stayed in Times Square, I went to Madison Square Gardens and NBC Studios and had a tour around there, which is all organised by the university.
My highlight's definitely the DMU Global trips. I wish I could go on more. I wish I did go on more.
These DMU Global trips have taught me that if I put my mind to it, I can do anything, basically.
I would have to say that all my teachers have been inspirational. They want you to do amazing. They want you to thrive. They want you to do great.
My personal tutor has been amazing. He definitely motivates me, and he inspires me to do stuff that I didn't think I could do.
The highlight of my time at DMU is when I joined the lacrosse team in first year, and the friends that I've made through that I know will be my friends for life.
One of my highlights at DMU has definitely been getting out there in my societies.
I'd say my highlight is actually gaining my graduate job. I couldn't have done it without DMU.
After leaving university, I know DMU will be there for any support or advice that I might need for future life.
I know that DMU for life, they'll always help me in my future careers, help give me careers advice. I know ultimately DMU will always be home to me.